Hey, how's it going everyone? What is up, and welcome to my top 10 villains we need in Star Wars Battlefront. Now I am going to do a heroes video that's going to come out in a day or two, but I wanted to do my villains first because of almost every video you see like this, they're only doing heroes with like one or two villains in it. So I really wanted to do my villains first. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So the number 10 villain we need in Star Wars Battlefront is Darth Bane, the creator of the Rule of Two. What is the Rule of Two, you ask? The Rule of Two states that there would only be two Sith at one time, a master and an apprentice, guaranteeing that when the apprentice becomes powerful enough in the ways of the dark side to take the title of master, only then would they be worthy of the title. This transfer of power would only take place when the apprentice takes their master's life and finds a worthy student to repeat the cycle. Both master and apprentice were considered to be Sith Lords. But that's not it. Darth Bane is also the Sith Ari. I'm probably saying that wrong, but that is the counterpart to the Chosen One. Instead of bringing balance to the Force and leading the galaxy to peace, he would destroy the Sith, yet by doing so make them stronger than ever. He destroyed the standing Sith Empire and developed the Rule of Two, as well as establishing the current Sith philosophy and having a deep knowledge of the Force. It's said that he could have went toe-to-toe with Anakin Skywalker in his prime, which is enough to get him on this list. Because that is awesome. The only reason he's on this list is because I really needed to fill the spot, because there's not a lot of Sith Lords out there, guys. And he seemed really interesting, but he's kind of unlikely to be in the game because he's like thousands of years old, I believe. He's a little bit younger than Darth Revan, I think. And Darth Revan is like 2,000-3,000 years old in their timeline by the time Yoda's around and stuff. So, yeah, he's pretty old, so I doubt we'll see him, but it would be pretty cool. He sounds very interesting. On to my number 9. Speaking of Darth Revan, he was a Jedi who desired to protect the countless lives on the Outer Rim that were threatened by the Mandalorian invasions. However, the Council refused to let him or any other Jedi intervene in the war, so Revan, displaying amazing diplomatic abilities and leadership virtues, mustered an enormous number of Jedi to go fight with him, disobeying the orders of the Council. His Padawan Malak followed him, and that group won the war for the Republic. But after leading his forces to victory, he persuaded the Mandalorians in the unknown space, where he and his apprentice Malak found Dromon Kaas, and came face to face with the Sith Emperor and the long-hidden Sith Empire. Here he was seduced by the Emperor and descended into darkness, becoming the Emperor's servant, who dubbed him Darth Revan. Revan set out from Dromon Kaas with a new mission from his master, to find the legendary Star Forge. From there, I guess you know the story if you played Knights of the Old Republic. Revan was also known as a really powerful Sith Lord. That's why he's on the list. He was able to turn a Jedi at will and gain allies, and that would be an interesting thing from in the game, actually, if you were able to turn troops and other, like, Jedi, I wouldn't say Jedi, but if you could turn troops onto your side to fight for you, that would be really cool and interesting to have in the game. But that's not the end of his story. He was later captured by the Jedi and brainwashed to convert back to the light side. As a Jedi once more, the third most powerful Jedi ever, Revan defeated his apprentice, now Dark Lord Malak, and was declared the hero of the Republic. So as you can tell, he has a pretty interesting story, and if you played Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, I believe, you get to see that story fleshed out. I think even in the Old Republic game, he's in there. I'm playing through that right now, so I don't know yet. But yeah, he's really interesting, but again, he's thousands of years old, so I doubt that we would see him, in this game that doesn't even have the Clone Wars era. But we'll talk about that here in a little while. But it would be pretty interesting to see him in the game, because he is a fan favorite. And, the main villain of, like, 2 games. So it would be awesome to see him. So on to my number 8, Starkiller. This one has a twist to it. It's Starkiller's clone. Originally, Starkiller was the apprentice of Darth Vader. After his death in The Force Unleashed 1, his clone in The Force Unleashed 2 tracks down Vader, who had captured his girlfriend. At the end of the game, you have 2 choices after defeating the final boss, Darth Vader, who had killed your girlfriend. You can pick the dark side or the light side. For the hero to be in the game, or the villain rather, you're gonna have to choose the dark side. This is the twist. In that ending, Starkiller or Starkiller's clone, whichever you want to call him, begins to raise his lightsaber to cut down Vader, but before he can do that, a hooded figure who comes uncloaked stabs him through the back with a lightsaber, killing him. When the hooded figure removes his hood, it is revealed to be another Starkiller clone, this time perfected. There was a lot of tongue twists in what I wrote there, so sorry if I sound like a fucking idiot trying to say it all. It was ridiculous. But yeah, just imagine a fully evil, fully trained Starkiller in Battlefront. The same Starkiller that brought down a Star Destroyer with the Force. He could go toe-to-toe with Luke, Yoda, or any other Jedi put in the game, and that's why he's on my list. I loved the Force Unleashed games. It was awesome to play as Starkiller. He was a really powerful Jedi, or Sith Lord, whichever you like to think of him as, or whichever path he went, rather. And I love, even though he's not canon anymore, and that's why it's not likely to see him in the game, it would still be awesome to have him on here, just to see him go toe-to-toe with Luke, because I think he could. And yeah, I'd really like to see him in the game. But on to my number 7. Now this is probably the most unlikely one, but it's Kylo Ren. We don't really have any information at all on Kylo Ren yet. All we know is that he will be the main villain of Episode 7, and he will probably be leading a reformed galactic empire. But just because we don't have all the details on his powers or abilities, that doesn't mean that DICE doesn't. That doesn't mean that they're in the dark. DICE could have all the knowledge on his powers, fighting style, and everything else. And even if they don't, they still have his outfit, design, and lightsaber, which, to me, is enough to create powers you'd think he'd have, and that would be enough to put him in the game. Of course, Disney would have to give permission for that, which he is probably unlikely for the base game, but very possible and very likely for DLC. Just imagine battling people with that cross-guard lightsaber. That just sounds fucking fun. Unlike a lot of people, I really like the crossguard lightsaber because I think it's really practical. Because unlike everyone who thinks that the beams start like at the end of the fucking guard at the end, I can't get the words out. The beams actually go all the way through, I believe. So, it's not as dumb as everyone thinks. I actually really like it, and it would be cool to have Kylo Ren in there, in the base game. But even if he isn't in the base game, he's probably going to be in a DLC, if I could quit fucking stuttering. He's probably going to be in a DLC with whoever they add for the hero of the movie in DLC also. Sorry if that was a little confusing. But on to my number 6, Darth Sidious. So of course the Emperor, of course he's gotta be in the game. Underestimate him you must not. Just because he's an old nasty fart doesn't mean that he can't fight. He was in Battlefront 2 as a playable villain, and it would be nice to see him return. Just so I can kill him over and over and over again with Luke. It would be nice if he was as agile as he was in the movie Revenge of the Sith, because he was cool as hell fighting Mace Windu, just jumping around the place, you know, jumping off his shit and flipping over him. That was just awesome. And you can tell the guy who was playing him was having a ball with it. I don't really want the floating Emperor we had in Battlefront 2. He just floats around and he's like, lightning, 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 right away, you know. I didn't really like playing as him at all in that one. But of course he'll definitely return in this game, and that my main question is, how will he play? Will he be agile, or will he be that floating, boring character that he was in Battlefront 2? I'm interested to see what they do. It'll be cool to see him return, and I'll probably play as him a few times, even if he is that floating one. So, yeah. On to my number 5, the Inquisitor. The Inquisitor from Star Wars Rebels. He wasn't a villain for very long, 13 or 14 episodes, however many the show had in Season 1. But for his time on the show as a villain, he was fucking awesome. Scary looking, he had those fucking razor teeth, like, he always kind of freaked me out when he was on the screen. And he had an awesome lightsaber too. The design was kind of close to that of Darth Maul, except their fighting styles and techniques and all that were very different. And the Inquisitor's lightsaber spun around very fast on a circular track that was attached to the handle. It was just really cool. He was he was a brute. He could be a tank in the game because he didn't do none of that jumping bullshit. He stood there and he walked towards really slow, doing his moves, and it was cool to see because you could tell the guy wasn't scared of anything and he wasn't doing none of that bullshit flipping. He was gonna be a tank. You wasn't doing shit to him, and it was really cool to see. It would be pretty cool to have him in the game, and it's kind of likely because he's canon, and from the TV show that takes place during the Galactic Empire instead of the Clone Wars, and not thousands of years ago. He's from the new TV show, even though spoilers, he dies. That's not stopping them from adding the Emperor or Darth Vader or Yoda. So it would be awesome to see him in the game. But on to my number 4, General Grievous. The coughing, four-armed, half-droid, half-whatever the hell he was from Star Wars Episode 3 and the Clone Wars TV show. Honestly, I don't like Grievous. Not only was he scum, he was a coward, running every time the going went bad and cheating his way through battle with other Jedi. The only reason he's on my list is because I think it would be pretty fun to play as him if DICE did it right. Just imagine running around as a hulking droid with quadra lightsabers, spinning around in a fucking circle. Or dual wielding and having the ability to pull out all 4 arms while battling the Jedi or troopers. Like I said, I don't like General Grievous at all, but he'd be pretty damn fun to play as, and that's why I have him on here. I kinda like to see him in the game. So on to my number 3, Asia Ventress. I probably butchered her name, but the dual lightsaber wielding sassy assassin from Star Wars The Clone Wars. She's my second favorite villain from the Clone Wars TV show so far, but then again, I'm not even at season 1 yet. But what I've seen so far, she's the best villain on the show besides Count Dooku, and she's probably the most dangerous besides Count Dooku. The only reason I don't say that for General Grievous is because he's a dickhead on the show so far. She's actually a little more likely than all the villains and heroes for the Clone Wars that I have on my lists. As you guys know, the Clone Wars is not an era in the new Battlefront yet. But the reason she's a little more likely than all the others is because she's rumored for Star Wars Episode 7. Or she was. I don't know how old that news actually is, but I was looking up her to learn some of her lore and stuff, besides what I knew from the TV show. So I have no idea how old that is, didn't bother to look at the date. But she might not be the main villain of the movie because of Kylo Ren, but she might be there, and it would be pretty cool. And it would be especially cool to see her in the game because I don't think we have a villain. We haven't had a Battlefront female villain, in any Battlefront yet. I don't think. Don't quote me, I don't remember, but, it'd be a nice time to start. It should be pretty cool to play as. But on to my number 2. Arguably the second coolest designed Sith Lord behind Darth Vader. This acrobatic dual-ended saber-wielding badass killed Qui-Gon Jinn, the master of Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you can kill the man who trained the man who would defeat one of the most powerful Jedi of all time in his prime, Anakin Skywalker, you're okay in my book. Maul was in Battlefront 2, and he was a ton of fun to play. He was my go-to villain right behind Vader. It was so fun jumping around doing the butterfly kick looking moves when you're swiping with your saber, and just looking badass while you were doing it because you can't get past that red face with the black tattoo looking shit and the horns. He was just awesome. This one would just be badass to have because of the acrobatic shit you could do, and not to mention the double-sided lightsaber. It's just cool, and we need him to return. He's one of my favorite Sith Lords right behind Vader, and I really want him back in the game. But on to my number 1 villain we need in Star Wars Battlefront, Count Dooku, the villain of Star Wars Attack of the Clones and the Clone Wars TV show. Trained by Yoda and played by the late Sir Christopher Lee, the most dangerous Sith of the Clone Wars, in many eyes. He's just plain badass, and he's proper while he's doing it too. He has a very awesome design lightsaber with the handle being curved, and he was also, after he left the Jedi Order and became evil somehow, haven't looked into that, he became the apprentice of Darth Sidious. So the dude was trained by both Yoda and Sidious, the Emperor and the hundreds of years old fucking Jedi Master. You can't get better than that. Dooku was in Battlefront 2 with the Sith Lightning and the Saber Throw abilities. I enjoyed playing as him because he looked badass. He was Christopher Lee, but I didn't play him much because he was so similar to all the other villains in Battlefront 2. But I think DICE could definitely do a lot with Dooku in the new Battlefront. Make him different and really fun to play. It would pay homage to Sir Christopher Lee and just be overall awesome. Now, I really think, I have faith. I have a lot of faith in DICE right now. I'm not one of the pessimistic little assholes who's just going around, oh, Star Wars is owned by Disney, that means this game's automatically going to be bad. Oh my god, they don't have this certain outfit for this certain map, this game is going to suck. 0 out of 10, IGN, man. I don't look at it like that. I have a lot of faith in DICE. I loved Battlefield. I still love Battlefield. And I have a lot of faith that they're going to do awesome shit with the heroes and villains in this game. We've already seen what the troopers can do, and it's awesome. So I'm really interested to see how the Jedi play and, Sith play works. And I think we'll be seeing it pretty soon. But yeah. I've been seeing these t-shirts all over the place, in JJ We Trust. Before the game comes out, I'm going to make some t-shirts in DICE We Trust. I think it'd be pretty cool. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know which Sith or villain or bounty hunter or whatever you think should be in Star Wars Battlefront. I think that we might get these and a lot more in there. So it'll be pretty cool to see who all we get. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I think I fucked up a lot of words there. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.